Hey all, welcome back to Chip Stock Investor. It's the beginning of 2026. Can you believe that?
Or at least by the time you watch this, it will probably be close to the beginning of 2026. We're talking to the future.
Well, it's time to do a review of what happened in 2025. And maybe some of you remember that pretty much all of our 2024 picks we just stuck with in 2025. So we're going to talk about how those picks did.
And before we delve into the charts, just a reminder, check out chipstockinvestor.com and our Semi-Insider membership. You will get access to our new research platform that we've been working on and building. You get access to all of our articles and write-ups, changes that we make to our portfolio, and most importantly, the why. And there's some pretty cool tools that we're building out as well, in addition to our research.
You can get access to that Semiconductor Insider membership over at chipstockinvestor.com. Quite a year it's been. That's kind of what we're going to talk about today and what's changed with our portfolio. I think we were kind of talking about this
over NBA.
Yeah, we're watching some basketball, and I was like, Steph Curry has been extremely consistent. This is his 17th season. I think LeBron James is kind of like that as well. And I think that's what our goal is here, to be extremely consistent.
Consistently good.
Yeah, not consistently bad or anything.
No. We'll try to win a championship every year, but you can't win a championship every year. This time last year, we showed you this chart, 41% total return, just on an equal weighted basis anyways, not accounting for weightings. Obviously for us, we have a higher weighting towards Nvidia, but just on an equal weighted basis, 41% total return, just so we're being fair on those 8 picks.
And this is how semiconductor ETFs, SOXX, SMHX, and SMH performed in 2025.
Let's do a little comparison here before we show the same return of those 8 stocks on that first slide for 2025. Let's just compare the top 3 semiconductor ETFs 2025. They beat the market, they beat the S&P 500, they beat the tech-heavy NASDAQ by a sizable margin this year. But there was a significant divergence between the Fabless, that's SMHX in green, compared to the whole index, SMH, which is still mega cap and large cap weighted. VanEck is the one that doesn't do the aggressive rebalancing every quarter. And so they have more of the winners win type of thing going on. I think at one point we called it SMH Nvidia for chickens, because it's still over 20% of SMH. You'll notice with SMH there, specifically the memory IDMs like Micron, as well as the fab equipment companies like Lam Research, ASML, Applied Materials, and KLA. These are like the top 12 or 13 holdings. And here's SOXX, iShares Semiconductor ETF, SOXX. Still Nvidia the top holding, but more equal weighted because of the rebalancing of this index. As a result, SOXX did a little bit less than SMH this last year.
So SMH, nearly 49%, SOXX, 41.6, nearly 42%. This is the Fabless Semiconductor ETF. Again, NVIDIA is a top holding, Broadcom.
So it strips out the IDMs, any company that does any manufacturing, the contract fabs like TSMC would be stripped out of this as well, and the fab equipment companies, which had a pretty strong second half of 2025, especially Lam Research. So you remove some of those top performers this year, Micron, Lam Research, and so on. And there's obviously a heavier weighting here now for Synopsys and Cadence Design Systems, which is kind of funny. They really aren't fabless chip designers at all, but they're in there anyways.
They are technically, very technically fabless.
ARM also not a fabless designer. They license IP. Anyways, that's why SMHX actually underperformed this year. VanEck was being a little cutesy with this by doing the fabless thing. They launched this, I think, mid-2024. Kind of a money grab because fabless designers were the big outperformer, obviously, the first 2 years of this bull market, NVIDIA and Broadcom in particular.
I think they were watching our stuff.
They definitely were.
So let's take a look at how those same 8 stocks performed in 2025. So 41% total return in 2024, 28% total return in 2025. And those 8 stocks were Microchip, Lattice, Semiconductor, Qualcomm, Pure Storage, On Semiconductor, Silicon Motion, TSMC, and NVIDIA.
So 2025, those top picks actually underperformed all 3 ETFs. First year that our top picks actually did that, and not a surprise, because I think we said a year ago, this year was going to be harder than the first 2 years of the bull market. So we're not surprised it underperformed the index. We still beat the NASDAQ with those picks. But just to reiterate, the reason why we left them unchanged for 2024, we were trying to preach consistency. Let's go all the way back to 2024, 80% total return for those same 8 companies since they were originally called out at the end of 2023, start of 2024, about 2 years ago now.
I would say that's not bad.
Not bad at all.